Hey everybody, here today. I'm going to try doing this video of installing the Torq Master torque locker I picked up. This here. I'm going to attempt to install it today. I've only looked at the directions once. I've read through them. I've already disassembled my machine to pull the front differential out. As you can see, everything's tore apart. Maybe I tore a little bit farther than what you see other people online, but I'm doing pretty much a full service, so I wanted to go a little farther, so I just took all the A-arms and everything off for my benefit. But I'm here. This is inside the drive shaft. I've already split the case. It's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these T40 bolts. There's 6 of them. One of them, they all came out pretty easy. They were in there pretty tight. Look, they might have had some kind of Loctite on there. I don't see any red or blue. A little white. Maybe there was some white Loctite. But you just got to be careful because they're pretty close to the side of the housing, so not all of them you can't really get straight. So steady, easy pressure to break them loose. Just a tip. I almost stripped one out, but thankfully it did not. Alright, so we're going to go through the directions. I'm going to go through the directions and do this step by step just to show just how easy and simple it is. Starts out disassembling the front. That I've already done. I did that yesterday. Alright, disassembling the differential. We already have the differential case open. When you're opening it, you want to be cautious of these here, these shims. You want to be very cautious of that. You want to remember what came off of which side. There are shims on each side. I had 2 shims on one side and 3 shims on the other. A lot of times they have oil on it from the differential oil, so you have to be careful and make sure you grab those in the correct side. And it's a good time to go in and check all of the internals of your casing, seals, and everything. All of mine were pretty good. I think I'm going to replace the seal that goes around the differential. It looks a little like the rubber O-ring. It looks loose. I don't really like it like that, so I'm going to get a new one and some new axle seals because my fluid was a little milky, more than I was comfortable with. So just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Alright, so removing this, it's fairly simple. Let me see if I can get you guys a better view here. This comes out of the assembly, and all of these internals here are what we're going to be replacing. So first step, removing the cross pin. On each side, as you can see here, there's a little snap ring on each side. This side, I've already removed it just for ease. So you just take your snap ring pliers, remove that, and you don't have to do both sides. You can do only one side because this pin will slide out afterwards. So you remove that, and it looks like there's 2 tiny bolts that fell out. We're going to set those off to the side. Those might be left over. I was doing some extra work here the other day. And now we are going to remove all of the spider gears. Alright. Remove. That's what you need to watch out for. Alright, so simply rotating it turns these gears into these open windows. Obviously you saw them fall out. So you want 2 spider gears And you need this upper gear. Let's see if I can reach this other one. And this lower gear as well. Also underneath there, all right, it came off with it. There's a washer that comes with it. Doesn't look like it's gonna come off. Come on, really? There we go. Washer that comes with it. I'm gonna leave it there in case I need it with reinstalling. Does not look like there was one. Oh, there was on the one on the upper. Okay. Make sure those get removed as well. I'm going to leave them with the differential for right now. Okay, optional. All right, so in the directions here, it shows you that you should have removed all of these parts. We got our washers, our spider gears, and the gears, and we also should have some thrust washers. See if we can find the thrust washers. Ah, there they are. These are on the sides, over here on the sides where the spider gears are at. All right, should have 8 parts. I have 8 parts here. As you can see, got them all here. I'm going to take this time kind of wipe out the inside, just clean it up, make sure everything's all good. Everything looks clean, everything looks nice and in order. I'm pleased with how it looks. All of this, I'm doing all this on a 2009 Outlander 800. It is a Gen 1. In the 15.5 newer Can-Am differentials, they are lucky because the front differential, as you can see on this one, is welded. This is not going to come apart to disable the Visco lock, which Torq Master that produces this locker recommends disabling the Visco lock completely. If you do not, it does not affect the performance of the Torq locker itself. So that's the next step in the directions, but obviously I can't disable it entirely. I can only do half of it. So we are going to skip those pages to. So as you see, we have our Torq locker. All right. We got things like some springs. You have to have those. It does come with some spacers. We'll get to that later. And then of course we have the actual locker assembly. There are halves here, as you see. I just have them set together right now from when I was looking through the box earlier. I believe that is it. Yeah, just cardboard left in the box. Alright, so we are looking at prep Torq locker for install. Apply medium grease and a very thin coating to the teeth of the gears and to the back of the axle gears. So it does outline in here what is what. Let's go to the page where it does. So we were looking at these outer pieces. These outer pieces that have the small teeth on them, those are our axle gears. These are going to be on the outer ends that are going inside here. Those are going to be our axle gears. So it's saying that it wants a very thin of medium grease. I only use marine grade grease on my ATV. I recommend it to other people. I use Lucas Oil marine grease. I love it. I use it on bearings. I use it on everything. Anything that's got a grease zerk on it, I use it on. It's a great product. Comes in a tube. It's multi-purpose. It's good up to like 500 degrees. It's very, very well produced. So we want a very thin coating to help the teeth of the gears into the back of the axle gears. So they want, and on the gears here, let's see if we can get nice even coating. This is the section that the teeth are actually going to slide. Alright, so we got that part. Get a little more here. This is the other half of the teeth of the gears. I believe it calls it the cam gears. I'd have to look. But I believe that's what I remember seeing. And this is what's going to allow in that four-wheel drive. When you're turning, you'll actually hear a clicking noise, which I've heard mixed reviews that some people notice it, some people don't hear it at all. So I guess it really depends how loud your machine is, how fast you're riding. I'm sure all that's going to factor into it, whether you hear it or not. But they say if you can hear it click, then that is good. Teeth of the gears. Now I'm going to put just more than grease on these. I'm going to put it inside where the teeth are at, because believe it or not, that is where your axle is going to slide at on this side, and it's just kind of one of those areas where if you have good C-clips on yours, it's already going to be hard enough to pull out. So I don't want it make it any harder than I need to. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on there. Almost done here. Now I have never installed one of these before, so this is my first time, and I'm doing it as if you guys would do it, so you can see just about how long. You see the videos that by Torq Master says it takes 3 minutes. Obviously they've done it before. They're, simply showing you only the steps that are in their directions. I'm doing it as I'm needing to get things, just so you guys have an idea just how long it's going to take. Alright, so to the teeth and the gears and to the back of the axle gear. I didn't do the backs yet. That's going to be important, because that's going to be a surface that could come in contact with another part of the locker inside. So we're going to set those on top of the internal gear that it will lock into. Remember, it says thin coating. You don't want to make this sucker heavy, because like the washers that I pulled out of the box and showed you actually comes into effect later. You may or may not need it. They do advertise that you don't need it. I don't know if I'm going to put them in or not. I may have to redo the video afterwards. I don't know if I have what I need to measure here. I think I left it at work. Okay, so we got that. Place the two gears in the case. Use one hand to hold the upper gear from falling into the middle of the case. So this is what we are going to do. Goes in like this. Alright, come on. Let's try this side. Okay. Let's do the bottom one. Place the lower cam gear first. opening of the differential case. Okay, so sorry, I did that wrong, guys. You need to. Great, now they're stuck together. I greased them so well, and now they're stuck together. And greasy gloves doesn't help get off the greasy. Let's get a little screwdriver in there. There we go. Okay. Once you install the axle gear first, and hold that up. And I'm gonna have the same problem with that one, of course. Okay, now we're in business. Once these installed first, like so. Okay, those are sitting there. Next, we are to place the lower cam gear in first. Align the keyway so that the pockets of the lower cam gear are facing the open of the differential case. So we're going to slide it in like that. There's the pockets. You can see the pockets there. I'm going to have to probably do a little rotating maybe to get it to line up. To fall into the teeth. There we go. To fall into the teeth. So then the divots, those are the pockets. So now we are going to place the upper cam in the opposite way. Alright, and this is where you're going to need to kind of align everything. There we go. I have them, they're locked back and forth. And this is the area where the two little springs come into play. So we're going to let that sit down for just a second. The keyways are aligned. Now we are going to use a small flathead screwdriver to compress the spring with one end of the spring in the pocket. Alright, so these little pockets on the side, you see those little spring cutouts there? That's where these little springs are going to go. They're in this nice little Ziploc bag. Trying to get it open with gloves is not the easiest. Okay. 2 springs. Should pop into place. It says use a screwdriver. That was my hands, as you obviously guys could see. I'm doing the other side now. Compress it. I might need a screwdriver on this side. Oh man. There we go. It looks like there is a little. Yep. There we go. They are locked into place. Internally, the springs should snap in like they did. Alright, so now we have to measure the center gap. This is where I don't have the right tools on me right now. It should be between 150 thousandths to 190 thousandths. So that's somewhere around 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to guess that I am right there. I have the measuring tools at home, but since I'm doing more work to this, I can come back later and measure that. In case you guys aren't, or are putting it together right then, the acceptable center gap should be between 150 thousandths and 180 thousandths. But 170 thousandths is the ideal center gap, and that's when you would use these shims here that they give. They feel pretty thin. They're probably going to be around 10 thousandths thick each, and you don't want to, you have to use them in pairs. So this was given one set of shims. So some kits might come with more. Whenever you place your order on whatever vehicle, it might come with more shims. When I called and got this, I told them the year, make, and model, and this is what they sent me. So until I measurement, I'm not going to know precisely. So supplied shims, same thickness on each side. So you don't want to use like a 5 thousandths and a 15 thousandths, whatever your kit comes with. These feel the same. If I had my mic with me, I can mic them and make sure that they are the same. But you want to use the same on each side. You don't want to have it off, or it's going to cause issues with it locking and unlocking. You might lock it and you're not going to be able to turn because it's not going to be the same, and those teeth aren't going to disengage and allow it to click and rotate. Let's see, some more information. Call their customer service at info@torqmasters.com. It has a tip here. Wedge 2 flat screwdrivers between the cam gears, one on each side of the case, to ensure the locker is fully seated. That's up into the top here. I don't have any gap in between mine, so it's locked. If you need to tighten up the center gap, install the shims for your kit. Symmetrically both axes of gears. That's the shims, these blue shims. Alright, so then the last part, we are going to reinstall the cross pins. So we're going to take this cross pin, and you guys can see, let's see if I can get some light through there. As you can see, let's see if I can do it this way. Pick you guys up here. So you can see the hole that is lined up, but you can turn this and you are not going to have as much. You can kind of see it's not quite lined up. So you want that lined up. You want it lined up as straight as you can get it. And the cross pin that you first took out, slide it right back in. Going to take our snap ring. Reinstall it. Alright, and that is locked. Now that is not going to come apart now, and that's it. That's all it needs to take. At this point, you can install it back onto your machine, whatever you want to do. Me, I have more work to do, but there's more to it. Whenever it comes time to test it out to ensure that it's functioning, I will make another video. But until then, guys, have a good day. Make sure you pay attention, all of your directions, and be safe when you guys ride. All right.